religion also teaches us that a woman's value is tied to her virginity. So once your virginity is lost, you have no value.
To piggyback off of what you're saying about losing your virginity, I know for me personally, I had to teach myself not to say I lost my virginity because that depreciates you like a car. I had to change that narrative from losing your virginity to gaining sex, because I think there's a wide range of experiences and ways that you educate yourself about your body and the way that you relate to another person by gaining sex versus telling women you're going to lose your virginity and depreciate your value as a human being.
I remember I gained sex, and I was always really embracing of my sexuality from a young age, and because of that, people labeled me a hoe. We talked about these celebrities who work so hard to change that narrative. Amber Rose has the slut walk, and people get so jarred by the slut walk. But the actual goal of the slut walk is to, like,
stop calling people sluts.
and take the word back and just be like, yeah, whatever, like, it's not that big of a deal. Women can be, you know, sexually liberated.
Addiction. You know, I think that addiction best describes the dynamics of the situation, you know, of what we're really dealing with. Like addiction, definitely. A lot of people, you know, obviously are addicted to different things. Some people drink, others substances. Everybody is addicted to food to some degree or another. But sexual addiction, you know, orgasm addiction, that's another addiction that's, you know, it's not widely talked about. And it's funny to me because everybody likes to categorize it this way and that way. Oh, I like this type of girl. I like that type of girl. Girls say they go for this type of man, that type of man. But I really think it's simpler than that. Because, I mean, I look at my own life and a lot of situations that I've been in where, you know, you're messing around with a girl that literally knows nothing about you. You don't know anything about her. She knows nothing about you. And you just, you know, you're basically just going at it, knowing nothing about each other. All you know is she's a woman. All she knows about you is you're a man. And that's kind of really the type of addiction that I just wanted to kind of talk about. Because the types of situations that people put themselves in dealing with this type of addiction are just ridiculous. You know, the amount of danger and the self-serving gratification that people chase after, it's really dangerous.
Prosecutors are reviewing the contents of computers to unravel the motive behind a satanic sex attack on Milwaukee's east side. Colleen Henry joins us from the site of the attack with new information. And Colleen, you talked to witnesses and the district attorney, who says the case poses some unusual challenges.
Well, Kath, the apparent victim in this case does not want to prosecute, and the suspects who live behind me say that the episode was consensual. That makes what investigators find on those computers even more critical to their decision on whether to prosecute.
He was cut. He was given breaks between cuts like he wanted, and he was given water when he asked for it, and he was given medication too, pain reliever.
And during that time, did he ask to be released?
Yes.
And did you release him?
No, because that was not what we agreed to.
12 News was there 11 days ago when prosecutors released the woman behind the rendezvous while they continued to investigate. She didn't want her face shown, but told 12 News she and her roommate invited the 18-year-old Arizona man to their East Side apartment for a satanic sex encounter. That after 3 hours, he broke free and threatened to kill her.
I ended up getting kicked in the head and stuff like that, and I was stabbing him too. And there's just so much blood all over it.
Jay Lindsay works nearby and was waiting for a bus that night.
Guy is walking in the middle of the street. He has like a rope tied around his neck, and his shirt and pants are just covered in blood. He looked like a zombie when we saw him.
Staff at the nearby County Clare helped with towels as police arrived.
He didn't have any shoes or socks on, and his feet were bleeding.
Even though he left a trail of blood in the stairwell and sidewalk, the victim's family told 12 News he doesn't want to prosecute.
I don't blame him. Like, I would want it to all go away too. You want to go have a good time and something like that happens. You meet crazy satanic women that want to sacrifice you or whatever it is.
Prosecutors hope computer communication between the women and the man will clarify what expectations were before the incident and may help resolve whether the women acted in self-defense, as they say.
Were you surprised to learn that he told police he was held against his will?
Yes, because that's a lie.
Do you believe a crime was committed?
No, I believe it's just something that got out of hand for both parties, and that's it.
The controllers, I guess that's what we'll call them, of society, have gone to great lengths to make things normal that, should really not be normal. And when I speak about this or really any topic, I'm going to predominantly speak about it from a man's perspective. Don't really care about the woman's experience or anything like that. So, as a man, the reality is, the amount of strain that I believe is put on the body from, just one, sexual encounter. The amount of nutrients released from you is it's undeniable. And the normalization of the releasing of such vital substance is amazing to me, because if you really think about it, from the urethra comes a seed that's capable of producing another human life. In your urine are stem cells, cells that can bind and regenerate other cells and basically become whatever the body needs. The untold benefits. It's basically, from that area is like a literal fountain of youth, and all you have to do is just leave it alone, and it will basically govern itself, like self-governance, which essentially self-governance is the antithesis, it's the anti-society. It goes against government as a whole, self-governing.
Maybe there are more women who are sex addicts who just don't want to talk about it. Why have you decided to be so public about it?
I think because there is so much stigma attached to it, and I feel that if it can happen to me, then it could happen to anybody.
It's usually people I know. During Freshers it was not people I know at all. But now it's usually people who either I'm friends with or my friends are friends with, and you sort of get to know, and then it just sort of happens. Around at my friend's house where we go all the time, I've kissed nearly, I think there's one or two that I haven't kissed. One of them's gay and one of them's got a girlfriend. There's literally, even the girls, we've all kissed each other and we all see each other naked all the time, and it's literally crazy. There's no shame.
So you were 12 when you first sort of had your first experience. And I'm sure a lot of people were like, what was the mind-blowing thing, right? Which you can read about it in the book. But it wasn't so much the joy of the feelings. It became an obsession for you, right? I mean, what was the driver to make you do it so often, over and over and over, even at that young age?
Well, I think that my first exploration with masturbation and porn started off pretty normally. I think most kids around that age would be curious and explore their body.
When you down there giving head, just take your finger and try to get next to the booty hole and see what happens. And we want to make sure that person said, well, she know how to give head. Because we don't want nobody saying, oh, she don't know what she's doing. Because that's embarrassing. When it comes to anal sex, it's a lot of work.
The power of self-control. It can't be understated how powerful of a thing that is. Even in the Book of Remembrance, it talks about how the Most High, he says that his people, we exude self-control. That's something that we shine at, the ability to control ourselves, to not necessarily be governed by the fact that everything is screaming out sex or drugs or whatever, self-gratification, fun, all this crazy stuff that, ultimately it does you no good, really, and it's self-destruction. That's basically what we're talking about here. We're looking at people who they're addicted to sex. They're addicted to food. They're addicted to drugs, alcohol, you name it. And the way they look, I mean, it shows. All the products that are sold to people to make them look young, and it's because people love the lie. The fastest way to make an enemy is to deny someone their addiction. They'll fight you for it. They'll reject you, and they'll ultimately reject themselves.